Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. I'm getting ready to make some soaps for my next release, which will be in September, and I thought I would bring you along for that process. In addition to regularly scheduled Wednesday content, I'm hoping to share with you a soap making video once a week for the next 4 weeks. Fingers crossed I can get that done. Along with regularly scheduled content. I used to be a lot better at sharing soap videos with you just for the sake of sharing the joy of soap making with you. So I'm hoping to incorporate more of that when I have soap releases coming out. So today I'm going to be making a soap that I like to call Gilded Pear. I've made this one a few years ago and I'm bringing it back. It's an absolutely beautiful fall type kind of honeyed pear fragrance from Midwest Fragrance Company that I'm going to be using today. And if you remember that design from a few years ago, it's going to be a little similar to the one that I made in 2022. Also, this is the same recipe that I shared a few weeks back in my Berries and Blossoms cold process soap video, and I'll go ahead and share the recipe again below in the description box. I'm really liking this formula. I had a goal this year to create a really nice hard bar soap in addition to other properties that I wanted to bring, which I'll be talking also about in the video. If you like this video and you found this content helpful, I really hope that you'll consider joining my Patreon campaign. I'll go ahead and place the link to my campaign below. There's a ton of information and resources over there. Just at the $5 level, you can get hundreds of recipes and tutorials. I've been posting weekly recipes now for 5 years, and so there is just a ton to take advantage of. It's a great way to connect with me and other makers. All right, let's get started. All right, so I went ahead and put my long sleeves, my gloves. I'm gonna put my goggles on now. Since we are making cold process soap, we wanna make sure and protect our eyes against the caustic lye solution here. This is a lye and water solution. And in this bucket, I have olive oil, palm oil, castor oil, coconut oil, shea butter, stearic acid, sweet almond oil, and grapeseed oil. And the combination of oils and butters and stearic acid in this formula have made a really nice hard bar of soap. I'm also using some sodium lactate in here as well to help with hardness. And this is also a very conditioning and moisturizing soap. I'm going to show you at the end of this video a lather demonstration on the Berries and Blossoms soaps. That's the same recipe as this, so that you guys can get an idea of what the lather looks like. It's really, really gorgeous. Okay, so truth be told, I'm a little bit nervous today to make this soap because I remember last time I made this soap, it accelerated on me pretty quick and it got pretty hot. And that's from the fragrance oil that I'm using. It's Honey Spiced Pear by Midwest Fragrance Company, and honestly it smells so good and it doesn't discolor or anything like that, so it's a really nice fragrance in that way, but I do remember it speeding up. So I'm going to try my best just to not over blend and to maybe just hand stir once I get that fragrance in, because I have a little bit of a different design in mind than last time. Similar, but I'm making a few tweaks on it, and I remember last time I was barely able to get the design that I wanted in it. It did work out, but it was a close call. So this recipe is different than the formula that I used the first time I used this fragrance oil, so maybe we'll get a little bit more time to work. So we're gonna start off by just pouring the lye and water solution into my melted oils and butters. I'm making the soap at room temperature, which is about 76 degrees in my house. I have the stick blender on low, just very gently pulsing it. I just want to bring it to a very light trace or just to emulsification. And that's all I'm going to do before I split my batch. So we're going to go ahead and just give this a hand stir real quick just to make sure we are emulsified. There's still a little bit of like floating streaky oil in there, so I'm going to give this a little bit of a hand stir, but I just want my soap to be super fluid before I add in any additives. Sometimes even color can cause your soap to accelerate, and titanium dioxide. So I just want to make sure we are moving pretty slow. I'm just going to go ahead and split off my batch. I'm going to leave some of it in this container here because we're going to go for a beautiful green and kind of gold color scheme. I'm going to go ahead and pour off 3 containers. Just kind of eyeballing this. I've got about 1.5 cups. Actually, not 1.5 cups. I've got about 3.5 cups, I think, in each container. Let's see. Yeah, it's roughly the same amount in each one. I love fall soap making. You guys have probably heard me say this in the past. Holiday soap making and fall and Christmas type soap making is my favorite thing to do. I don't always know that it's everybody else's favorite soap to buy. Sometimes that's a balance between, you know, making favorites or things that sell well on my website, and then also trying to add in some of those seasonal things that some people like and that I like to make. That can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes to balance that, or to know. Like sometimes things sell really well and then the following year you bring it back and it doesn't sell at all. That's definitely something that's been a challenge, I would say, as of the last couple years for me. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and add in some color. Okay, I am also using some colors today from Mad Micas. This was the first time I've ever purchased from them, and I've been pretty impressed so far. I really am liking the colors so far that I've purchased. So this one is called Crazy Eyes, and it's a beautiful kind of jade jewel tone green. So I'm going to go ahead and add about a teaspoon. It says that this green, it said in the notes that this green is stable in cold processed soap, meaning it should stay this color green. Now, whether or not it morphs while I'm making it and then turns back to a green is an unknown for me. I didn't see anything in the notes regarding morphing. So it, you know, sometimes your greens can turn a weird shade when you're making your soap, and then they come back to that beautiful green depending on the type that you're buying. So this one is called Poppycock, and it's a really beautiful kind of coppery gold color. It's probably just going to show up, honestly, mostly like a brown color in here, but that's okay. In my experience, that's what happens with these kind of metallic colors. They just kind of go a tan or a brown in your soap. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a hand stir first. I think this color combination with the fragrance oil that I'm using here is really nice. So the honey spiced pear is just is a great fall fragrance. In fact, I'm liking a lot of the fall fragrances from Midwest Fragrance Company. These colors will pop more once I get everything blended. So this one is getting some titanium dioxide dispersed in water. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and give this just a little bit of a stick blend, still on low, just to get those colors mixed in. And then when I add the fragrance, I should be able to just hand stir in that fragrance. Okay. That's just a gorgeous color in the wet soap. I'm wondering what it's going to look like after it sets up. Let me know also in the comments if you've tried this formula yet and what you think of it. I'm really liking it. Honestly, I'm gonna have to switch it up too in a little bit when my palm oil is all the way used up, because I plan on going palm free as soon as I'm done with my supply of palm oil. Okay. All right. So far, everything is going well, so hopefully we can continue down that path. All right. So next, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my fragrance oil and I'm just gonna stir it in. My plan is to make kind of a tiger stripe design inside the bar of soap. If this starts to set up too fast, I'm gonna have to pivot and just kind of plop it in and maybe do a swirl. So my plan right now is hopefully we have enough time to do kind of a tiger stripe design. As you can see, it's a very yellow colored fragrance. It doesn't discolor though in the finished soap. At least that's a good thing. Okay, so far so good. I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a blend, get this all emulsified. So this will cure to like a creamy colored white. Just making sure this gets totally mixed in here. Okay. And now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to pour. Try to bring you in a little bit closer here. Okay, I'm gonna start with my white. Just do 2 passes. Green. Okay. So far so good. Pray it all goes well here. So we're gonna get a nice tiger stripe kind of design here, which is awesome. The green seems to be staying beautiful. A beautiful green. Now I may need to give this a little bit of a stir here. It is starting to set up, but we are still in great shape. This gold color almost looks like a caramel. So I'm wondering what it's gonna set up to look like. Kind of almost looks like caramel apple. Just gonna add some color on the top with the leftover soap here. And then we'll texture it, and then I have some cute embeds that I'm gonna be adding on. So I think that was a good plan to go ahead and add that fragrance oil in and then hand stir. I think that worked out beautifully. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and take this stirring rod and just put a little bit of an S pattern on top. This is also helping me get my soap evened out on the top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take off my gloves and goggles for this next part. Now I've made these cute little honeycomb embeds and green pears to go in here, and this was tricky. I had to kind of work this out so that my honeycombs fit perfectly. They're like 1 inch across, which is great because that's the size that I want the actual bars to be, although I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Hold on. I want it to be this way. There we go. There we go. Because next to it is going to be a green pear. And then that should be, one of these should be on each slice of soap. And I'm hoping for 15 slices. Okay. There. So the last thing I'm going to do here is go ahead and spray it with some 99% rubbing alcohol just to prevent some soda ash. And a little tip, if you are someone that tends to get soda ash on the top of your soap, that's when it turns white or gets that kind of ashy look on the top. A good way to prevent that is to just do a little bit of a water discount. So I am soaping at a 10% water discount, and I never get any soda ash. I don't cover my soaps. I don't insulate them. I just allow them to sit uncovered for 24 hours before cutting. So we're just gonna go ahead and spritz it. I always spritz anyway with rubbing alcohol, just in the event that it may be an issue, but typically, since I've been water discounting now for several years, I don't get this combination of water discount and spritzing with rubbing alcohol. Totally prevents the soda ash. And there you have it. Isn't that so cute? I just love it. Stay tuned for the cut. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and cut the gilded pear soap. As you can see, the white section here discolored to like a tan color. So being that it discolored to a tan color on the white, that means the other two colors that I used in here also were compromised by the yellowing of the fragrance oil. So the colors aren't exactly what I had imagined, but still very nice. And what's odd is the last time I made this soap with this fragrance oil, or I made a soap with this fragrance oil, I didn't have this level of discoloration. So it must be just a combination of my recipe, my new recipe here, and the fragrance. Smells so good. It's still got some really nice earth tone kind of fall vibe colors going on. So I am pleased with it. And let's see what the inside looks like. Hoping that we got some nice like tiger stripe. Oh, that's really pretty. Very nice. So that's the back end. Super interesting looking. I'm liking it. And I imagine that this may discolor as it hits the air a little bit more, just a little bit darker, but overall, super pleased with it. That's an awesome tiger stripe there. These soaps, all 4 of the fall soaps that I've made so far this season have really just behaved super nicely in the soap making process. I didn't have any problems with soap setting up or anything like that. It's always nice. All right, I'll go ahead and cut one more for you. There you go. And there you have it, everybody. That's the making of Gilded Pear cold processed soap. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me some comments and questions below. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everyone. Catch you on the next video. Keep shining. Bye.